You know the new car market is under real pressure when dealership lots start looking less like polished showrooms and more like overflow storage areas. And that is exactly what is happening right now. Across the country, tens of thousands of brand new vehicles are sitting still, barely moving, and in some cases piling up week after week. We are talking about new cars that have already been in dealer inventory for more than 100, 150, or even 200 days. In today's market, that is not something buyers should brush off. Using the latest available data from Cargage, we picked 12 models that shoppers appear to be avoiding in 2026. Some of these vehicles were considered strong sellers not that long ago. So the real question is simple: what changed? That is exactly what we are about to break down. We will go through this list step by step, starting with the least concerning case and working our way toward the model facing the most serious inventory problem. If this kind of analysis helps you make smarter buying decisions and avoid expensive surprises, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us keep bringing you this type of content. Now I want to hear your take. When you see brand new cars sitting on dealer lots for months, do you see a great chance to negotiate, or a warning sign that buyers should be careful? If you enjoy content about cars, technology, innovation, and smarter choices for buying better, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. We are very close to reaching 1,000 subscribers, and every new subscriber helps this project keep growing. Here, you will find videos made to show what is truly worth it in the automotive world, with no fluff, no hidden advertising, and always focused on useful information for anyone who wants to avoid bad buying decisions. So, if this content helped you in any way, subscribe now, turn on the notification bell, and follow the next videos. Your subscription may seem simple, but it makes a huge difference for the channel. Thank you for being part of this journey toward 1,000 subscribers. In 6th place, we have the 2026 Buick Envision. This SUV is built in China, and when the United States applied a 45% import tariff on China-built vehicles in 2025, General Motors had to rethink its pricing strategy, and the result was simple: a large part of that extra cost was passed on to the buyer. In less than a year, the price climbed by roughly $5,000. That pushed the entry price to around $46,000 for a vehicle that does not always feel like a true premium SUV. A lot of shoppers look at the Envision and ask the same question: why pay almost luxury SUV money for a mid-size Buick crossover? General Motors has said it plans to move Envision production to Kansas, but that shift is not expected until 2028. Until then, this model remains stuck in a difficult position, with import costs making its value proposition much harder to defend. Right now, the Buick Envision has reached 256 days of market supply, with more than 13,600 units sitting at dealerships across the country. Its average selling price is around $47,100. So would you buy an SUV whose price has already been pushed up by import tariffs? Or would you rather spend the same budget on something that gives you more value for the money? In 5th place, we have the 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. This is the 3-row version of the Grand Cherokee, and right now, it is spending far more time on dealer lots than many buyers would expect. The main issue is easy to understand. Stellantis, Jeep's parent company, spent years trying to push prices higher, assuming customers would keep paying. But now, that strategy is starting to show its limits. The Grand Cherokee L sits at around $50,000, and in some cases, even higher. At that price point, the competition gets serious fast. Buyers can start looking at options like the Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade, or several 3-row Toyota SUVs, and that is where things get difficult for Jeep. For many shoppers, the brand does not always carry the same luxury image or quality reputation needed to fully justify that price. On top of that, some buyers report extra dealer fees, long service wait times, and owners mentioning issues with the infotainment system. Put all of that together, and you get exactly the kind of hesitation that sends customers toward other brands. According to CarEdge data, the Jeep Grand Cherokee L now has 278 days of market supply, with more than 7,300 units sitting at dealerships. Its average transaction price is around $50,500. So would you spend that kind of money on a 3-row Jeep? Or would you rather choose Toyota, Kia, or Hyundai if you wanted a more complete package and a stronger reputation for reliability? In 4th place, we have the 2026 Ford Bronco. Not long ago, this SUV had waiting lists, dealer markups, and buyers willing to jump through hoops just to get one. But that excitement has cooled off in a big way. To be fair, its off-road ability is still impressive. The Bronco can still handle rough trails and leave normal pavement behind. But when you use it as a daily driver, the weaknesses become much harder to ignore. Many owners mention noticeable wind noise from the removable roof panels. Water leaks also come up often. Add in the firm suspension, high fuel consumption, and a driving feel that is not always comfortable for everyday use, and the appeal starts to fade. The biggest concern, though, is the APIM recall, which stands for Accessory Protocol Interface Module. This component can overheat and shut down the central touchscreen while driving, sometimes for up to 5 minutes. That means no navigation, no backup camera, and no radio in a vehicle priced close to $50,000. For many buyers, that is hard to accept. The Ford Bronco now sits at 280 days of market supply. More than 34,000 units are currently available at dealerships, and its average selling price is around $47,700. So would you still give a heavily discounted Bronco a chance? Or would those daily use drawbacks and electronic concerns push you toward a different SUV? In third place, we have the 2026 Chevrolet Blazer EV. This model had one of the roughest launches in recent years, and even the 2026 version still seems to be carrying the weight of that difficult start. The biggest point of frustration is the lack of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. General Motors decided to replace both systems with its own Google-based interface, and many customers were not happy about that move. Owners have reported frozen screens, backup cameras that stop working, software glitches, and even cases where the vehicle does not shut down properly after the driver gets out. In 2024, sales were temporarily paused to address these kinds of issues. But based on some owner feedback, the 2026 model does not appear to be completely free from concerns yet. There is also a recall related to the parking brake wiring harness. This cable may rub or corrode, which could cause the brake to respond unexpectedly or behave differently than intended at the wrong moment. Today's buyers do more research than ever before. And when they find information like this, many simply decide to look somewhere else. The Chevrolet Blazer EV now sits at 329 days of market supply. More than 3,100 units are piling up at dealerships, and its average selling price is around $49,300. So would you trust an electric SUV connected to software complaints and parking brake concerns? Or even with a major discount, would you rather keep your distance? In second place, we have the 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander. Its biggest problem is easy to understand. It is marketed as a family SUV with 3 rows, but in real life, it only partly delivers on that promise. For 2026, Mitsubishi is relying on a 1.5-liter turbo engine. It produces 174 horsepower in a vehicle that weighs more than 3,700 pounds. Because of that, many reviewers and owners describe it as underwhelming and slow to respond. And that is not exactly the feeling you want when merging onto the highway with your whole family inside. The third row also struggles to make a strong case for itself. It may work for small children, but for anyone bigger than a child around 10 years old, the space gets tight very quickly. On top of that, some buyers point to vague steering, a brake pedal that feels too soft, and dealer markups that can push the price toward $45,000. The Mitsubishi Outlander now sits at 372 days of market supply, with more than 7,600 units available at dealerships across the country. Its average selling price is around $37,100. So would you buy a 3-row SUV if the last row is barely useful in everyday life? Or would you rather spend more on a vehicle that truly works as a family hauler? In first place, we have the 2026 Audi SQ5. Right now, it is one of the slowest-selling new vehicles in the United States, and the gap between this model and many others is surprisingly large. Audi completely redesigned the SQ5 for 2026. But according to many owners and reviewers, the new version does not really feel like an improvement. In some key areas, it actually feels like a step backward. The turbocharged V6 still delivers strong performance. That is not the main issue. The biggest complaint is inside the cabin. Owners who liked the previous generation say this new model feels less premium. There is too much glossy black plastic, too many piano black surfaces that show every fingerprint, and materials that do not always feel as durable as expected. Audi also moved the climate controls into the touchscreen. That means even something as simple as adjusting the temperature can force you to take your eyes off the road. In a premium SUV at this price level, that decision is hard to defend. The MMI system has also received plenty of criticism. It can suddenly go quiet, almost as if a phone call is coming in, even when there is no call. The navigation may still show directions on the screen, but some voice guidance can disappear. A few drivers also mention rough gear changes in dynamic mode. These are not the kinds of issues buyers expect in a vehicle selling for around $76,000. According to CarEdge, the Audi SQ5 has reached an astonishing 626 days of market supply. So would you pay luxury money for an SUV that many owners believe is weaker than the model it replaced? Or would you wait until the market forces its price much lower? And that is the main lesson here. When even premium brands have certain models sitting at dealerships for almost 2 years, smart buyers need to look beyond the badge and focus on the vehicle's real value. You have now seen 12 new 2026 vehicles piling up at dealerships and struggling to convince buyers. Some are hurt by inflated prices, others by a weak reputation, technical concerns, questionable design choices, software issues, removed incentives, or simply a market that no longer accepts paying too much for too little real value. If this analysis helped you, leave a like on the video. It truly supports the channel. And if you want more data-driven car content, subscribe. Your support helps us keep analyzing the vehicles worth considering, the ones buyers should approach carefully, and the hidden opportunities still sitting in today's market. Tell me in the comments, which one of these models would you only buy with a massive discount? And which one would you refuse even if the price dropped heavily? See you in the next video.